chosen ones, empaths, and all the genuine souls out there. You honestly don't realize the lengths these narcissists that are involved in your life or was involved in your life go to assert control over you. They're constantly trying to gain control over you. And one of the main reasons why you don't realize this, and please understand, I'm not criticizing authenticity. It's a beautiful, wonderful, commendable trait to have, to be authentic, okay? But when you're dealing with someone who is nothing but a deviant, who's nothing but a liar, whose tongue is riddled with thorns, who lies, whose lying lips are abomination to the Lord and the universe, you don't realize what they're actually doing. So you often find yourself on the back foot, like trying to have a healthy discussion. And it's not just romantic relationships. This can happen in any aspect of life, okay? This can happen with friends, family, work, colleagues, bosses, business dealings, any type of thing that you're involved in, okay? They're actually trying to gain control on you, and they're constantly figuring out ways to gain more control in these interactions. All right, like, I don't know how fast their minds move, to be honest, right? But from my assessment, narcissists involved in your life's minds move very, very rapidly to try and seal the deal, right? To try and gain this control. They can't, so when you're meeting them with authenticity, realness, truth, all they're trying to do is exploit that and find ways to gain more and more control over you and assert more and more control over you. All right. So a simple exchange of words between you and a narcissist, right, or a toxic individual, simple exchange of words, you're not realizing that they are figuring out, like, based upon what you say and based upon the things that you say to them, they're figuring out ways to exploit that. That's their natural inclination, right? So they're trying to make it more and more difficult for you to get what you want, right? And it's not like you're being unreasonable. It's not like you're being unfair. You're being authentic. I'm not saying you're perfect, but you're being authentic. You're being real. You're stating what you want, or the thing that is bothering you, or you're stating something, and they're trying to gain control over that. And they'll lie to you straight out. They have no care. They'll just lie about something, okay, just to get that part of just to gain that part of control, you see. And you see, what brought this on, right, is random, right? But there was a company that I make purchases from, and I've been a very good customer for a very long time, and I've even been told that I was a good customer back when they had better customer service. But I was dealing with one of their customer service representatives today, and it's just an example. I'm not saying they're narcissists, but they've got a toxic agenda, to say the least, right? So they couldn't clarify if the purchase I made was the right purchase, because I asked them to check if something was okay within the purchase I made, because it was a new purchase that I made. And I said, all right, forget it, cancel the orders. They said it's already been shipped out, it's already been dispatched. I said, it was about 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. It was very quick, right? Basically what I'm saying is, I have a rough idea how businesses work, when you get those order confirmations saying your order's been dispatched, say, I know this is random, but there's a point to this, right? When you get those order confirmations saying that your order's been dispatched or something, it doesn't necessarily mean that your order's been shipped right at that moment. It means it's been put in a pile, okay, for them with all their other orders, and then they'll ship them all out in one go, right? That's how a business is going to run, right? So I said, like, you're lying. Like, you've got my order there. I want to cancel it. I want a refund, right? And they were trying their hardest not to issue a refund, right? I'm not saying they're narcissists, right? But I used to, speak to someone who ran the company, and they used to have very good customer service and things like that, right? What I'm trying to say is, the person who I was speaking to today was just trying to gain control based off of what I was saying, and they were trying to gaslight me. They were trying to manipulate to not issue the refund, right? It's like they was almost desperate for the custom, okay? It's like they was almost desperate to keep this custom. But this same analogy I've given you is the same what happens when you're in a romantic relationship with a narcissist, okay, or a friend or a family member. You want something and they won't give it to you. Like, you don't even want something from them. You're just saying something to them. You might just be saying something that you're expressing yourself. You're just being authentic. You're being true. You're just saying something, right? Whatever it is. Like, I just used that example of me wanting a refund, right? And then being difficult, right? But this type of mentality runs through the world in a lot of individuals, where really, like, an authentic person would say, yes, it's okay. We have packaged your order, but we're able to do a refund, because they care more about the customer and the customer's well-being than they do about themselves, and it's more of a selfless kind of action. This is the same with the narcissists that are involved in your life in perhaps romantic relationships or something. It just sparked the thought in my mind about how people move, right? So say you're in an interaction with a narcissist involved in your life, and it's not even always like you asking them for something. It could be them asking you for something, okay? They're making something they want from you, and you tell them you can't do it. And the way they respond is to gain more control, or they'll gaslight you to make you feel guilty for the things you've done, or they'll devalue you and put you down, so you do what they ask. And it's just constantly, so their minds are constantly in this motion, like all the time, based off every interaction you have with them. I mean every interaction you have with them, to gain control. That's what they're doing. That's what all of the interactions are with these individuals, these toxic individuals, narcissists, and just people that really desire control. Okay, so watch out for this. Okay, because the reason why it goes unnoticed is because a lot of the times prior to you waking up to narcissistic abuse and stuff, is you're having an authentic conversation. You're constantly expressing yourself. And I'm not telling you ever, please don't get me wrong. A lot of channels criticize authenticity, the empath, things like that. I'm never criticizing the authenticity, the empath, or anything like that. It's not a weakness. I'm just saying it gives room for the narcissist to attempt to manipulate further and further and further, because they know if they twist it a little bit this way, or twist it a little bit that way, or twist it a little bit this way, or maneuver it a little bit that way, and they do all of these strategic moves to assert control over you, right? They're constantly doing it. They're always doing it. And the thing is, they could have been asking you for something that you didn't want to do, right? Or you couldn't do. Like, for a genuine reason, you're unable to do what they want from you, okay? And you tell them you can't do it. They'll start gaslighting you, putting you down, telling you this, telling you that, to the point they get enough control till you give in and break and collapse. And it's like, this is why you've got to have that cutoff. Okay, this is why you've got to have that cutoff switch. Okay, happened today with a family member, toxic family member, a narcissistic family member. They were trying to do this thing to assert more control. I just hanged up the phone. Right, just hanged up the phone, left it. Didn't even express myself. Like, sometimes we, like, as chosen ones, empaths and genuine souls, it's better just to not say anything to these individuals, right? And I'm not talking about silent treatment and things like that, but sometimes it's better to just nip it in the bud, cut the conversation, okay? Because it's not getting anywhere. That's what you need to understand. By maintaining in these conversations with these individuals that are constantly trying to figure you out, that are constantly studying you, and their minds move so rapidly, and all they're trying to do is exploit and gain control. You got to notice the signs of it and immediately just cut the conversation. You can do this with a statement, right? If you're in an interaction with someone at work and they're trying to demand more from you, or they're trying to put more workload on you, or they're trying to do, I can't do that, I'm exiting the conversation now. Boss, CEO, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Right? If someone's trying to demand something from you that you don't want to do, right, or you're unable to do in work or in life, then just get out of the conversation. Remove yourself, because that's you being authentic, right? Don't stay in limbo, right, in trying to reason with them. There's no reasoning with a narcissist involved in your life. There's no reasoning with them, because at each time you offer your reasoning or your expression of truth, honesty, and realism, they just try to crush that. And that's why you should spot it. It's about being involved in these dynamics with narcissists involved in your life, because I'm telling you, it's not just romantic relationships. This happened, like I said to you, it happened in an exchange just with a customer service representative that I made a purchase from, right? Happened with a family member, happens with friends, it happens with, it can happen with your romantic partners in your life, or it can happen with your child's parents, it can happen with all sorts of these things. Once you spot this thing, and I'm not necessarily, if these people that are like narcissists or toxic individuals have to be part of your life, right, for whatever reason, like, at least just exit the conversation, go in your own direction, cool down a bit, right? Because they can honestly wind you up and make you get annoyed and frustrated, and then the way that you handle the situation won't be as good as you were handling it initially, right, when you was just expressing yourself and being authentic. So just get the hell away from them, right? Because you can understand that what they're trying to do, try to see through what they're trying to do in these given scenarios, because they're constantly trying to do this, right? Try to apply this to your own life. I know I use some random examples today, right? It's not something I usually do, right? But I want you to understand what I mean by these random examples, right? These are the same traits that these people have, that are like, your old romantic relationships with narcissists involved in your life, your friends that are toxic or narcissists. Like, they're trying to gain control and trying to gain leverage over you in every single angle of the discussion. You're not actually talking. It's like you're almost talking to a devil, right? That's why I said lion lips are like abomination to the Lord of the universe, right? They have no standards. They have no morals. They don't care if they lie to get their own way. They don't care what they say to get their own way or to get this control. They don't care what way they go about it. They just want control. They just want what they want. There's no reasoning with them. There's no empathy with them. But I'm sure, they're not seeing it from your point of view. They're not understanding the reason. Like, they're not embracing, they understand, right? They know the reason why, like, say, for example, at work, you can't do a particular task because you're already doing this and you're already doing that. and they're trying to push the workload, they're not empathizing with you and saying, all right, this person's got a lot on, let me facilitate this work to someone else, right? They've got an agenda and a motive, that probably an even more premeditated agenda, where they're trying to make you crumble and, you know, overwork you, right? And this is what happens, right? So just get the hell out of these conversations with these people. Don't give them the benefit of hearing your words. They don't deserve to hear your words, right? And sometimes you just have to just make a statement, right? Like, statement. Don't ask these people questions, right? Once you figure out that someone in your life is doing these kind of manipulative ways to constantly figure out ways to gain control, a lot of the times statements go a long way. So I know I haven't really directed this towards your narcissist involved in your life with like romantic relationships, but try to apply it to the same sense, right? In whatever situation where they're trying to gain control, once you figure out, all right, this person is trying to gain control, they're trying to gaslight you, they're trying to manipulate, they're lying, they're doing these things, they're doing all these, idiotic, bizarre things, right? A simple statement like, I don't want to have this discussion any further. I've told you already that I'm not able to do this. Please find someone else to do it. For example, you could say at work or whatever, right? Say it was a romantic relationship with a narcissist involved in your life. Like, I'm telling you, like, a lot of the times makes the narcissist not know how to handle it, because you're stating your truth from yourself. So when you speak from I's or I'ms, right? Like, you're not speaking them, you're not speaking based on them, you're not saying us, you're not saying we, you're saying I feel this way about this given situation. I don't want to have this discussion any further. Okay? The moment they start trying to have the discussion further, I've already said to you, I don't want to have this discussion any further. Okay? Sometimes it's better to leave things and rocks unturned and things unsaid with the narcissist involved in your life, than continuing to persist down a route of, trying to express yourself and, reason with them. Forget reasoning with these parasites. Don't reason with them. There's no reasoning with them. Reasoning is a very nice thing to do with people in life. It's a very wonderful thing to do. You reason with each other, you express to each other, you do these things. It's a very wonderful thing to have in life, right? And it helps form solid bonds in relationships and stuff. But there's no reasoning with a narcissist, because all they're trying to do is figure out more and more ways to gain control and exploit you in these given scenarios or situations when you're in discussions with them, right? They're thinking 3 steps ahead. They're thinking how they can make pitfalls. They're thinking how they can sabotage you. They're thinking how they can control you. They're thinking how they can do this stuff, right? Like I'm saying, even if you don't even want to say a statement, if you're on a phone call, just cut the phone call. Hang up on them, right? You know what I'm saying? When you hang up on them, it gives them time to think. They're going to come back in some bizarre way, right? Of course, right? But it gives them time to think, like, they don't have the answers. They ain't going to call your phone again, right? They'll probably wait for you to call them or something like that, right? But don't let their strategic moves to gain control let you cave in. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Because that's what they're consistently doing in every single discussion, every single interaction you have with them. They're constantly doing this. They're very weird, all right? To sum it up, they're very weird. Anyone who is doing this type of stuff is seriously deranged, right? They don't have the ability to reason. They don't have the ability to express. And a lot of the times, these discussions, arguments, disagreements, and all that, they lie. They'll do absolutely anything to gain control, okay? I remember I spoke to someone in a one-to-one session once, right? And they said they don't mind sharing the experience because if it will help someone. But they thought the narcissist involved in their life posted a bit of a, provocative photo, okay? And they said to them, like, that's setting a that's setting a you know that's setting an impression to other people, right? That you're into that type of thing, right? I don't know exactly what the photo was like, right? But they just said it wasn't like it had all filters. It didn't really look like them, It didn't really look like them, and they were just trying to create this image, right? And they got into this argument with the narcissist before they knew it was a narcissist involved in their life. They got into an argument with this individual. This is what they told me, right? And they only figured this out afterwards, okay? The narcissist was able to manipulate the argument, was able to make them think they're in the wrong. The narcissist lied and said they hadn't actually posted it. They fabricated everything, right? They hadn't actually posted that photo. That photo was just on their phone. They hadn't actually posted it on their social media. And it made the victim, who I spoke to in the one-to-one session, start apologizing, saying sorry, thinking they're in the wrong. And this is because this individual engaged with them, you see. And it was only after further down the line that this individual realized that they'd been gaslit and this had actually occurred, and it wasn't just a figment of their imagination, right? So this is what this individual shared with me in a one-to-one session. But what I'm saying is, if that individual, for example, hypothetically, I know he can't go back to change what he done, right? He can't go back to change what he done. But if he just ended the conversation or spoken a statement and didn't engage in the argument, didn't engage in the disagreement, it wouldn't give the narcissist that was involved in his life room to basically manipulate it and gaslight, you see. That's what I'm saying. Pull the plug on these situations when you're in them. Pull the plug. When you're falling into these arguments, when you're falling into these disagreements, make your statement, right? Make it clear of what you like, what you're not putting up with, if you want to do that, or just cut off and just stay silent and pull away, right? I understand many of you have children with these narcissists involved in your life, and you must get into like really annoying discussions and arguments and things like that based on all sorts of types of things. But sometimes it's better to just pull the plug on it, right? Go silent, cut them off the phone, walk away from the conversation. What do they say in school? Like, it's better to walk away. You keep your sanity. You keep your sanity. You keep your peace. You keep the control. That's really what I wanted to get at. I want you to keep control and not let them get the control on you, right? I want you to keep control in these situations. Please, please, please walk away, say a statement, pull the plug, cut them off the phone, stop talking to them on social media, whatever it is, right? And whether this is romantic relationship, friend, family member, colleague, associate, whoever, right? Just get the hell away from these conversations, right? And what was I gonna say? This is random, but like I done with that stupid customer service representative today, I said to them, right? You're lying. When they said they can't refund because it's already been dispatched, I said, you're lying. It's not like the courier comes and collects, my parcel straight away, right? So you saying that it's, I said it's short, but you saying it happened 40 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, whatever, right? It's a lie. I said, my order is just sitting there. You're able to refund me. Set my statement. They had nothing more to say to that. They couldn't manipulate. They couldn't manipulate any further, because I know how it works, right? Like I've told you before, right? I ran a business for a small period of time. I knew how to. Even on this shop's website, I know which kind of e-commerce platform they use. So it was the same e-commerce platform as I used, right? So I sent them the instructions of how to cancel an order. They didn't like it. They took it very personally. They didn't like it, but I sent them like a Google transcript of how to cancel an order and unfulfill an order, right? Just to take the piss, right? And they did do it in the end. I got my refund, and I got what I wanted, right? And I'm not being one of those annoying customer services things. It was because my original concerns in the reason why I just asked them a question about what I was purchasing, and because they was unable to give me the answers about what I was purchasing, I didn't want to go through with that purchase any longer. I have that right to do that, right? And they was just being unreasonable. The customer service representative was being unreasonable. Like I said, I've had conversations with other customer service representatives before, and they seem very polite, they seem very reasonable, they seem very decent, they seem very helpful and shit like that. But this person must have had a bad day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something, because they were being like a fucking idiot. So all I'm saying is, keep your power in your hands, right? You have it. You can do it with your authenticity. Authenticity is not a weakness. Empathy is not a weakness. You have the ability, but sometimes it means, when you're on the back foot or you see them trying to gain control, take your power back, either with a statement, either with pulling the plug, either with going silent. This defeats them. This really does defeat them, okay? Remember, like I said, the statement, why I keep saying the statement is because when you ask a question to someone, it puts you at mercy of their response, right? It puts you at mercy of their response. If I said to that customer service representative, why can't you refund me because blah 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 blah, but instead I said, you can refund me, you have to do this on your on your e-commerce platform, and my order is just sitting there, you can refund me, you're a liar. They couldn't say anything. You see, statement, right? It's just an example. Random video today. But I had a couple of interactions, with a family member and this customer service representative today that sourced this video and gave me some more insight to share with you. So I know I've gone on for quite a while. I do apologize for going on so long in this video, but I hope it helps. Like, I really want to try and encourage you to take your power back in these situations, and just understand that they are weird. I don't know how their minds move so fast to always be like, well, I do know they're devils, they're the negative entities, whatever they are, right? But their mind is calculated to be consistently conniving, and they're always looking for room for exploitation and control. But they do it so fast and so rapidly, it can take you by surprise, right? These narcissists that are involved in your life, it can take you by surprise. Okay, just like that individual who I mentioned from the one-to-one session, who was gaslit into thinking it was his fault, and he believed it was his fault. He even apologized thinking it was his fault, and then further down the line, then he realized he was gaslit in that situation, right? The best thing to do is, when you know something's wrong, when you know something's up, pull the plug on it. So anyway, thanks for listening today. I really appreciate the support. Please book a session if you'd like to. You may donate or support to the channel if you want to. Check out the main channel for more content. My podcast is now on Spotify. All links you need are in the description box below. If you would like access to over 100 exclusive videos, daily uploads and custom video requests, join my membership program at zionmembership.com. Links also in the description box below. There's a 3-day free trial and you can cancel at any time. All content is made by me with no ties to any organisation or university. Your support truly keeps us going. I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.